Episode 9. It's the second episode of the off season, if we're counting NFL as our main season. Although XFL is kind of throwing a little wrench into it. We can talk about that, but we've got a little boxing coming up. We got a little hockey. We've got a little golf, some baseball, maybe even a touch on basketball entertainment. So I think we've got some interesting things coming at you.
This is a cool time of year in the sports industry or the sports world because it's like the end of football and that kind of stuff. And then now we're getting towards like more of like the postseason of basketball and then the start of like golf and baseball. And
which neither you or I are huge basketball people, but March Madness is when you can kind of get into it. Even I didn't watch any of the games this weekend, but looking back, there were a lot of interesting stuff, some big upsets. It's kind of like basketball knows it's their stage right now and they step it up a notch. So
exactly. Good for them, as they should. But I'll tell you one thing.
What you gonna tell me?
Over the weekend, I went snowboarding for the first time.
Ooh, where'd you go?
Macedon, little batch trip. And I was surrounded by a bunch of dudes who were very good. So it's like this weird dynamic of I was very new, first time going, and then everyone else was like on the black slopes.
Did you fall in the lift?
Not like getting on, but getting off.
Okay.
So Macedon, like, first of all, Macedon's very dumb, in my opinion, because when you get off the lift, it's just a straight drop.
Oh, really?
So literally, you like jump off the lift with your snowboard and just straight drop down. So yeah, I did eat pretty hard both times.
Wait, so are you saying you go straight down the mountain or it's just the steep ramp to get off the lift?
Steep ramp to get off. There was a lot of momentum you got off that lift. So I finally got the hang of it after a few tries. Obviously, a lot of falling down.
Yeah.
I had some good coaches, but I really got the hang of it. I had a couple decent runs on the green, so was up for like 30 plus seconds for one.
Nice.
So it was fun. First time being out there. And the second time I was doing another pretty decent run, and well, everything's relative, but for me, like staying up, maneuvering a little bit, like
getting some carbs
on a snowboard. Yeah.
Throwing some powder.
And then it was muddy on the right-hand side. My snowboard caught the mud and I just whiplashed back. And it like scared me for the rest of the day. And then my buddies go, hey, you're kind of picking up really fast. Let's go on the blues. And so they're literally 3 hours within me ever snowboarding.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, why not? And this is right after I fell. And so we go up to the blues and that was a nightmare.
Really?
Disaster. It was just too fast. Like I just didn't have enough control to be up there.
The hardest thing about learning snowboarding or snowboarding with people who are learning, whether it's snowboarding or skiing, is if you're skiing and you hit like a slow green and there's like a catwalk or something, you have poles and you can keep moving. If you hit that on a snowboard, you're bunny hopping or unstrapping and moving.
Correct.
Which is really tough. Like I remember, I kind of ditched Caitlin like the first time she was learning because I was like, I mean, I just can't keep doing this right now.
Yeah. So it was cool. Like we went back and forth. So like one person would help me here and there, but yeah, they got a ton of runs and like they were all in the blacks and like just
how's the body feeling?
Awful. Oh. Yeah, dude. The next day I woke up and like my neck was so sore. And so I go, you know what's a good idea? Let's play 2 hours of tennis. So I played 2 hours of tennis yesterday.
Saying.
Yeah, shout out.
Speaking of tennis, Djokovic.
Yes.
Set the record. You said it was
378 weeks.
378 weeks.
For staying on top, like number one world ranking. For men and
like
women.
Longest either way.
Yeah, I think he holds the men's record anyway, like 300 week.
But this was the longest that had been a women's record.
Women's. Yeah. So the longest someone stayed number one in professional tennis.
378 weeks.
Yeah, over a year. Yeah.
378 weeks. I mean, I'm not an expert at math, but that's like over 7 years.
Just barely over a year. But no, wow, yeah, that's true.
That's over 7 years, right?
Yeah.
Or like. Yeah, right around 7 years.
Yeah. Wow.
That's nuts, though.
That is insane. Yeah, he's an absolute monster. And that's one thing, I want to start watching more tennis.
Okay.
And like playing more. That's why I played yesterday. I just love getting out there because it's like, I feel like I'm getting better, but it's great exercise. Like 2 hours of good exercise. Like
summer 2020 got into playing a good bit. Have a friend who played in college. And so we'd go and had a group of us and we would play like a good bit. And it was such good exercise. It was really fun. I'm not like that good at it, but I'm not horrible at it either. And so it was just fun and I enjoyed it a lot. But then it kind of dropped off. So
should we hit some?
We probably should.
Yeah,
we should hit that back up.
Yeah. And full swing. That actually helped my tennis.
It did?
Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah.
Dude, I was playing tennis yesterday, and I was like, mindset.
Speaking of some people have been asking, what are we going to do after NFL? And part of our plan all along was to start having guests on. And so one of the early guests is one of my buddies who's getting into the tennis podcasting space. He's been doing some reaction videos for that documentary. And so I think that'll be fun. Maybe that'll inspire us a little bit more.
I think so. Does he play tennis or does he just talk about it?
Pretty much just talks about it. Okay. He's gotten into it, but he's connected with a lot of really some stud tennis players out there. And so that could be fun. And then Jake Paul, Tommy Fury fight happened.
Yes.
So quick thoughts on it. Tommy Fury won by a split decision. I think a lot of people coming in either thought Jake Paul was a scam or Tommy Fury wasn't a real boxer. It seemed like almost everyone was thinking that one of them, either side of it, just wasn't the real deal.
Right.
It was a good fight. I personally, it was an 8-round fight instead of a 12-round fight.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen 12 rounds because I think maybe we would have seen a little bit of splitting at the end, see if someone stands out more. But Tommy Fury won by split decision. I think it was clear to everyone who thought that one of them wasn't that good, that they're on the same level. Maybe neither one of them are on like top tier level yet, which is totally fair. But Tommy Fury is more than just Love Island, and Jake Paul's more than YouTube, I guess, is what the unanimous outcome of this fight was.
I will say this. As much as I don't really like the Paul brothers, I am very impressed. Like Jake Paul went from just kind of like a personality to just like a hardcore boxer.
He's like, a real boxer.
He is a real boxer.
He's a real boxer.
Yeah. And like the workouts and like just whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
He just dove right into it. Kind of like what we're going to do once we turn 35 with golf. Very similar.
You just have to figure out how to sell companies before.
Yeah, very similar.
I think for a while, I wasn't actually sure if this fight was going to happen. It did. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if I actually really care to see a rematch or not. If I do, I definitely want it to be a 12-round match, though.
Yeah. I would I'm kind of on Jake Paul's side now.
Really?
I kind of want to see him make a little bit of a run into professional boxing. Like have a couple legit wins.
I kind of want both of them to have a little bit of a run, and maybe that's it. Both of them establish themselves as real boxers, and then there's a rematch that's a 12-round match. That could be pretty cool.
That could be cool. How much was the PPV?
It was $80.
Okay. So tough.
Yeah, I didn't end up getting it. I watched a YouTube live stream reaction. So I couldn't actually see the fight, just saw someone reacting to it, and then I went back and watched the fight afterwards. Because that's the thing, is like, am I going to spend $80 to watch it by myself? It's different if there's a group of people together. When I can just wait, follow it on Twitter and YouTube, and then come back a couple hours later and watch the fight.
Yeah.
So that's what
Especially with like 10 guys and you split it.
Yeah, maybe next fight we'll do that.
So in the golf world, the PGA Championship has become the last major in the last few days to allow exemptions. So to allow some of the LIV players to play in the PGA Championship this year.
So how many majors can they play in now? Is it just
all four?
All four
PGA
now?
was the last one. Yeah.
I mean,
days.
They had to. The PGA, even though they tried to double down and say that they weren't going to be allowed, I mean, they had to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, exemption wise, like who actually gets in. Like, I don't know if they have announced this yet, but if they're gonna do like everyone in the top 100 gets invited automatically, and the last 50 spots are qualified for. Right?
Or do you think there's gonna be something that's tied to PGA tournaments, and so people who had qualified in past years get in, and then you have to play more PGA to get. You see what I'm saying? Maybe. Like if you're not qualified based off of your LIV performance, but off of your last PGA, as a way of continually like bringing players back into the PGA.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because obviously they can't play in the PGA tournaments, the PGA's normal tournaments.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Where if it's solely off of majors and you want to play more majors, then maybe it forces players back into normal PGA tournaments instead of LIV.
Right.
But I mean, it's hard to compete with the money. So.
Who knows if the PGA will even like let that happen? It'll be interesting to see if there's anyone who goes to the LIV and then back to the PGA. Like apparently they're thinking Koepka might do it.
Here's my thought. The PGA can try to act like they've got a leg up, but they don't. Like they're going to let anyone back in. They can put up a strong face and be like, no, I'm not going back to that X. I'm not going back to that X.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I still really like you.
Yeah. It's like the 15-year-old high school girl who's like went back to her ex 4 times.
Yeah. That's
and then her ex number 5 goes, I've changed. And she's like, no, you haven't. And he's like, yes, you have. And she's like, okay.
That's PGA. PGA in a nutshell right there.
And then LIV, they actually played their first, I guess, quote unquote tournament.
Yeah.
over the weekend as well.
What was the purse, like $7 billion for it?
Yeah, 8 actually. No, it's $25 million was the purse just for just
solid, just for like the lowest
after
rent.
all these contracts, like just to play in the tournaments. I'm pretty sure like there's no cuts. I'm pretty sure you win money just for playing in the tournament. I don't know,
nuts.
but I didn't really follow it all, but I think Charles Howell III won it. And then a lot of the people like Koepka, Mickelson, Neiman, a lot of them played in it. They just didn't finish top 5, but that's pretty interesting. Would you go to a LIV event? Like if it was in Florida and you had a chance?
Like I'm going to be honest, probably.
Yeah.
I don't have enough moral qualms with it that I wouldn't go.
It's like, where do you draw the line? In the
yeah, I'm like, I mean, let's be honest though. This is a hot topic, but if you went to the NFL owners, if you went to all of these super rich sports franchise owners, and you're going to find a lot of shady stuff that you don't agree with there.
Oh my gosh.
So at what point do you have to draw the line? I don't know. I actually really don't know where I stand on that. I just think that it's very easy to look at one side of it and be like, well, I mean,
It's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100%. Because you know a lot of, especially these really rich owners. And like the companies that are like major sponsors in the PGA Tour, I read an article one time, like some of them are Saudi backed and like
that's
funded.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and then you go to different, it's not clear cut.
Yeah.
However you look at it.
It's kind of, it's hilarious though, the difference between last year, like 12 months ago, and then right now with LIV, because it's like, oh, this is a joke. They're just paying people tons of money. It's not going to work out. And then now it's like, oh my gosh, like it's working out and it might continue to work out. And kind of divides. I hate that it kind of divides golf, but
yeah.
So remember how we talked, Joe, the other day and on the pod about, and you were like, Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point record will never be broken.
I didn't say it will never be broken. I just said it was very impressive.
Well, you said it was one of the like most unbreakable, right?
One of the most impressive.
Okay. So we had Damian Lillard, who scored 71 last night, Sunday.
Well, you know what they say. If you're trying to go for a 100-point game, if you get 71 one game and then you get 29 the next game, then you win. You get the record. Oh, wait, it doesn't work like that. It has to be in one game. So
but they're 71% of the way there.
No, they're not, because it resets. So they just didn't make it. They're 0% of the way there.
That game, they're 71% of the way there.
And then didn't make it. And so they failed. And they're back at the starting line. They're back at the starting line now, still not having made it. And guess what? They're no closer today than they were yesterday.
There's been 8 players.
Do you disagree? Is that not logic?
It's kind of logic, but there's been 8 players who've scored more than 70 points in the NBA. And I just...
Active players?
No, total.
Oh, interesting.
But
continue.
I think, here you go. I think in the next 10 years, it's going to double.
Okay.
So...
I think the Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl in the next 20 years.
Fair enough. He was just draining them.
He's just draining them. That's impressive. Props to this dude.
71 points.
71's insane. So I don't want to, just because of the Wilt record and my pride, I'm not going to belittle this accomplishment. Big deal. Last sports little update we have for today is the Bruins goalie scoring. And I've got a little feature for you.
Our guy Scott Morrill's going to love this.
Yeah. So my cousin, AKA the third, AKA Iceman, AKA huge Boston sports fan.
Got it.
AKA someone who wants to sing the praises of the unsung heroes, has joined us via video to talk about this.
Oh,
so
I love this.
Here we go. Let's hit up a little Iceman right now.
Oh, I like this.
Which, by the way, I was like, do you want to blog your name or do you want to go real name? He's like, well, because he was a kicker. He's like, there was like a few weeks in high school where people called me Iceman. He's like, I wouldn't hate a comeback. I'm like, I think that needs to happen.
Yeah,
so Iceman, let's go.
If we're going to talk about this week in sports, we cannot ignore what happened Saturday night. Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins, the league-leading Boston Bruins, Stanley Cup favorite Boston Bruins, scored a goal, which you might think happens quite often with an empty net, but it really doesn't. Only 9 times has a goalie shot it from their end, and it has gone into the net. There have been other instances where the goalie gets credited for the goal, but only 9 times has he shot it from their end of the ice into the empty net on the other side. And to put that in perspective, there's only been 23 perfect games in Major League Baseball history. And in the 105-year history of the NHL, we're talking about something that's only happened 9 times. So
it's pretty nuts,
in
right?
the midst of a season that feels like everything is going right for the Bruins or, team of destiny vibes, it's pretty cool to see Linus getting his moment. Then he takes it to a whole nother level. Guy takes the normal route after somebody scores a goal. What do? You go and tap gloves with the entire bench. The spectacle was incredible. Highly recommend anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about to go see it. And if you want to hop on the hockey bandwagon, we welcome you in Beantown.
Dude, I straight up want to get on the hockey bandwagon.
That's awesome.
Even before this incident, I love hockey. I just need to watch it more.
Me too. I just
think
didn't
it's so
grow
fun.
up watching it. That's the
same.
problem. Like I grew up in South Hill, Virginia.
Yeah.
Like no one watched hockey.
I had a couple friends, grew up in South Carolina, and had a couple, like 2 of my best friends played hockey growing up, which is wild. But I mean, that's nuts. Perfect games, 23 perfect games in MLB history.
Yeah.
And this has only happened 9 times.
All right. So first of all, I love the video.
Yeah. Shout out Iceman.
Yeah,
I think
shout out
he's going to be a regular occurrence.
I like that. I like that. So walk me, because I didn't see this. So walk me through the scenario. It was, I imagine, end of the game, third period.
Yeah, Bruins were playing Vancouver up by 1.
Okay.
And so the shot was pretty sick.
Okay.
So empty net, obviously trying to get a score, tie up the game. The goalie just lobs it over everyone's head. It was
Like a soccer lob?
I mean, the equivalent. Yeah.
Wow.
Like takes it probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the ice just over everyone's head, drops in, boom, scores.
That is
It
awesome.
Dude, it was crisp.
So
It was, yeah.
I was about to say, with all the, I mean, even all the players on the ice, because if they pulled their goalie, they had 6 people on the ice. Vancouver did, because they traded him for a player. So I was like, how does that even, does it go through everyone's legs? Like,
No, he just cleared everyone. It was just boom, dropping in over everyone's head. It was nice.
I would like to see, like,
I'll send you the video.
I would
It's
like to
nice.
see how many attempts, how many times that goalies actually tried to score. Like, what I wonder what that percentage is. Like, I guess if it was 8 or 9 of goalies that have actually like shot it in, I wonder what the percentage is of like attempts.
It's got to be a lot higher than that. But I mean, think about probability. Even with an empty net, you either have to clear everyone's head and still drop it in to the net, which is very impressive, or somehow get it through everyone's legs. Like that's not happening either. So
I mean, this is not a freaking college sorority party.
yeah. So I think I said that was the last sports thing. I lied. I want to talk about baseball a little bit.
Yeah.
So the spring ball, not that exciting, but MLB pitch clock. Have you seen what's been happening with that?
This is so interesting to me. I have, because obviously I played baseball through college, and it just goes against everything you're taught almost.
So that's my thing. They're trying to speed up baseball,
Which I don't hate.
I don't hate.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's long. I do think there are some elements of, if the game is what it is, can you really just change it, make it more TV friendly?
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. But baseball is such a ritualistic, you have your own rhythm kind of sport, that now you've got 8 seconds to get in the batter's box, ready to go. And these guys that have been playing ball for 20, 30 years, a lot of them, like that's a hard rhythm to break. And I don't know. I'll be curious to see how that looks. And so because spring ball can end in tie. And so in the Braves game, the bases were loaded and there's a strikeout called with 2 strikes because he didn't get in the box ready in 8 seconds and the game just ends.
Yeah, he walked apparently.
Because he thought it was the umpire pointed, thought he was signaling to walk, started going to first base, and he's like, no, that's strike 3. So he struck out to end the game with 2 strikes because of this rule.
Of the 8 second.
Because he didn't get in the box ready to go in 8 seconds.
Where's that timer? Does the umpire have it? Is it like a shot clock?
I bet it's because I know in college baseball they'd had like a minute or something, maybe it was less, between pitches, and that was out in the outfield and behind home plate. And so I assume it's something similar, but
yeah, it'll be interesting, especially with like signs and stuff. I guess there's not that many signs in professional baseball, but
I think it's just more of the rhythm that you do over time that's become your thing.
Like take a couple deep
It's
breaths.
such a mental game that then to add, make sure you're in the box ready to go in 8 seconds. That's a steep learning curve.
I say we make
it's happened twice already where it's been a strike.
I say we make it 4 seconds. We just really, here's the key, right?
You can't leave the batter's box.
Yeah, you can't leave. It's 4 seconds. And then by the time the regular season comes back, it's 8. And so they're
basically, we're trying to make the MLB the XFL.
Yeah.
Which, that is kind of interesting. Have you watched any games as a side note?
No, I have not.
I've watched a couple. I liked what they're kind of doing where it's right after NFL season when people in withdrawals. Saw AJ McCarron slinging the ball.
Oh,
kickoffs are weird. So not to go down that rabbit trail. But
no, but I really think on the baseball side, they do need to speed it up because comparatively to the other sports, like even the NBA, NFL, like I don't know. It's so weird because an NFL game is like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really need to speed it up. It's just almost like you need more action.
But at what point are you trying to create a different game? Like a baseball game is not going to compete with an NBA game if you're looking for high scoring action, all that stuff. If you are, you're making baseball not what I think a lot of people like about the game. And so I'm all for trying to speed it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think when analytics have been added so much into the game, it's slowed it down a lot. Think about how many pitching changes, all the shifts, all of these things. And so there does need to be some way of combating that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Call me a traditionalist.
We could talk a lot about that because I have some varying opinions both ways.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have a lot more once the season starts.
We see how it's working.
Another offseason move, Manny Machado, 11 years, $350 million. And he's already pretty old. So that's got him into his 40s.
Manny Machado I think he's about to turn 31.
So the Padres are just spending money, which, trying to get some dubs.
I have an interesting take on this.
Yeah.
I think it's so stupid. Like, Manny Machado is a great player. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal player. Why in American sports do we wait to pay these guys and give them these big contracts? And it runs out when he's almost 42, they said.
Yeah.
No offense, Manny Machado, but from 36 to 42, he can only be but so effective.
I don't know. Look at Albert Pujols. He's 57?
Yeah, that is good. That's a good point. Yeah, he can't even.
I feel like baseball.
He can't even run. He's jogging.
But did you see the? I was like, am I going to get on this rabbit trail? The video of him pitching, Albert Pujols. You should watch it at some point. I guess he just, you're ticking boxes in your career at that point.
Yeah, dude.
It's hilarious.
He has had a heck of a career too. But anyway, yeah, and a lot of interesting. It'll be kind of a cool MLB season.
Yeah.
Trey Turner to the Phillies. And Bryce Harper's another one of the contracts that I guess from a player's perspective, they want to be in a place for a long time. And so they request these long contracts, I imagine.
Yeah. It's longer contracts. You want to know that you can spend the rest of your career at one place if you want to.
Yeah.
You're paid, you're set, you're ending your career there.
Yeah. But Harper's he had such a behemoth contract. But I will say, when he hit that go-ahead home run to take him to the World Series, everyone was like, it was worth it. Yeah.
And the thing with baseball too is salary cap, if you have enough money, doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean?
Why do they have so much money?
Owners or salary cap? What are you talking about?
Salary cap for baseball.
It's just not penalized the same way that football is. You can just pay the luxury tax and keep going.
Like the Yankees.
It's the classic Yankees and other teams are doing it, which it's interesting being a Braves fan is always the exact opposite approach where they have really good farm teams and they don't overpay players. Sometimes can you keep someone like Dansby Swanson having to leave where they're starting to pay people a little bit more than they used to, but it's just a very polar opposite approach. And it clearly both of them work because championships.
It's like Moneyball.
Last thing on baseball though, close to home, South Carolina scored 49 runs over the weekend. They set a series record. Yeah.
Wow.
49.
So
that's were hot.
3-game, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. They're 3-0, scored 49 runs. And at the same time, old Clemson got swept by UCF. And then the UCF team ran down the hill at Death Valley.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
Classic, just trolling them.
Clemson's traditionally very good at baseball too.
They're traditionally okay. Not as good as South Carolina. So I'm hoping that this is maybe us getting back on top. There were 40 consecutive seasons that South Carolina had 20 wins, and 20 consecutive seasons they had 40 wins.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they won the back-to-back championships, played
they
for
were good
a
too,
third.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we always ran the house with Clemson. Then Clemson was up there, but South Carolina was just always better. And then the last few years have fallen off, and so it's weird though because as a South Carolina fan, it's a failed season if you're not in Omaha at the end.
Yeah, they're very good. But like I said, Clemson traditionally is always competing for Omaha as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always like a super regional team, at least.
Which that'd be fun. I enjoy watching the College World Series.
I know, me too.
Yeah. Did you see the other day, and I forgot exactly what team, but one guy hit 2 grand slams in the same inning.
The same inning?
College baseball. Same exact inning. I mean, first of all, I've never hit a grand slam. That would be kind of the peak of my career. But for him to hit 2?
That's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Well, back to South Carolina. Quick shout out to the women's basketball team. We are a women's basketball school. It is the only thing that we win at, apparently.
Interesting.
But they're the last undefeated team in college basketball. I saw it was senior day, and I think the seniors' record was like 130 or something crazy and 8. I'm like,
women's basketball is a weird sport.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, but it's a weird sport because like you have like these unbelievable dynasty teams.
It is weird.
Like UConn.
Yeah, it's almost
Notre Dame.
It's like the very top level talent is just so much better than the rest of the league, where that's not the case in
like college basketball. No, but it's like it must just be like for I don't know, like percentage of women who play basketball, whatever. But yeah, you're right. Like there's like your top 10 players in the country out of high school,
and then typically those are 8 of them are on the top 2 teams.
Yes,
which is so. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really watch a lot, so I'm not very qualified to speak on it.
I watch every game.
But that's impressive to be the last undefeated team.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Shout out them.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, and then in entertainment news, is it SAGA or is it the Screen Actor Guild Association?
Something like that. You're exactly right.
Something. Anyway,
yeah.
Those awards, I saw Jason Bateman won Best Outstanding Man, and then Jennifer Coolidge, and
sounds
a lot
like
of people
he's doing better. That snowmobile. Remember?
That was Jeremy Renner. So, I mean, yeah.
Fair enough. Go, Jason Bateman.
Fair enough. Let's go.
Yeah.
I didn't obviously watch because I don't really care that much, but like TV.
Yeah.
Which I know you wanted to talk about OBX season 3, which I haven't seen yet. So no spoilers, but you can give.
This is how it ends for those of the.
Yeah. Plug your ears, Joe.
So I've watched 8 out of the first 10 episodes, and it took everything in me not to watch the final 2 at 10 p.m. last night.
That's impressive.
Dude, it took everything in me. But.
Well, I can't start and then stop it. So I was like, I'm going to wait on one of my buddies and we're going to binge it.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, it's cool. But anyway, I thought it's been very cheesy, but it's
I love it though. Who cares?
Correct. At the same time, it's good. It's a good cheesy.
I'm not watching it for this crazy plot line or something. I'm like, oh, it was a quality. Like I watch TV to be entertained.
I want to see like, no, you don't, Topper. I want to see more of that. You know, you love the idea of me.
Hey, no spoilers. I'm not listening.
No, that was season 1, I think.
No, I didn't know if it was coming back. Can't spoil anything.
Oh.
Who knows?
Let's just say maybe.
And then the last topic, less entertainment-wise, was the largest global work week, 4-day work week study results came out, which I thought were very interesting because it said, I think it was around 97% of the companies that participated were going to keep it going. Productivity was up, engagement was up, burnout was down, retention was up. Like across the board, every statistic was better with the 4-week than the 5-week. Very interesting. I'm a firm believer that sometimes I overdo things and then the quality goes down when I do it. If I were to narrow back, I would be more effective, more productive. So I agree with this. One thought I do have though, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. Do you think there's elements of it where as an employee or someone, it's a test or early stages and I double down and I work hard and show that a 4-day work week can be better than a 5-day work week, which I agree with. But then once that becomes normal, it's like the bar lowers back down and you slack off in the same way that you would before. I know that sounds harsh, but what I'm meaning is like, are the results as crazy as they are because people are showing that 4 days can be better than 5?
Probably.
And then it'll taper off and maybe be close to the same?
Probably.
Yeah.
So I also will say it wasn't a massive study. So I read a decent amount on this actually just because benefit-wise, it's pretty interesting because a company could say that they have a 4-day work week and that's a huge benefit.
Right.
Like think about it. Like if you're like, hey, you know, you can work 35, 40 hours a week, but you only have to work these 4 days.
It's huge.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a UK study. I think there's 59 companies that participated in the study. And yeah, it was a huge percentage of them. Like either, I forgot how they classified it, so it was going to be high, the study. but like only like, I say only, but like 25% it's permanent. And the other like 60% or something or whatever, 70% would probably do it again. That's kind of how they structured that study. But I will say, I don't know if 4-week is necessarily the answer. I think it should be an option though.
Yeah.
You know, like I think a lot of people would be like, I will bust my little rump.
Yeah.
For 4 days to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. But some people might not. Some people might be like, hey, I'd rather work 7 to 8 hours a day. You know, maybe do a half day on Friday or whatever it is. So I think it works differently for everyone. But I just think you got to meet the employee where they are.
I agree with that. I do think it's interesting. I like that people obviously are trying to figure out how we can do stuff better, what needs to be done, and what are we just doing because we're doing. I do believe that by doing less, you can have a much larger output. But I agree. I don't think it's necessarily a one size fits all or like this is the answer. But it is, I don't know. I just enjoy seeing stuff like this and trying to figure it out and figure out how we can do something better than we've done it before.
It's also weird. Like we are, as Americans, we work so much longer and harder than most of the world. I would say outside of like China and Japan, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. But like if we're going to Europe or going to Scandinavian countries, it's not even close.
Exactly.
I would be a big proponent of a 4-day work week meetings and things that are like actual obligations.
Yeah.
And then the 5th day is almost like a choose your own adventure where you're saying that it's customizable. Like if you want to get everything in on those 4 days, you do that. If you want to just have a day that's blocked off and you know you're never going to get scheduled something here to get the work done, or you want to flex that and you want to do that on Saturday instead of Friday, where there's only 4 days that you know you have to be a certain place at a certain time. That could be really interesting too.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, moving on to the Florida Man Challenge.
I'm starting to get nervous.
Yeah, because you're 4-4, right?
Yeah, 4-4-4.
Oh yeah, 4 for 4. Yeah. I was trying to remember which one he said. Didn't. But how are you feeling? We'll do a little check-in.
To be honest, I'm not feeling good.
Do you think I'm going to get in your head?
You've already got in my head. The last one you really got in my head. So now it's like, are you doing psychology? Are you doing reverse psychology? Are you doing reverse psychology?
I told you my one goal with this is just to make you a basket case. I want to live in your head rent-free.
Well, go ahead.
All right. Story number 1. In Orlando, a Florida man was outraged when there wasn't an available spot in the 2-story parking garage where he wanted to park. The man drove around the garage twice more before parking his truck sideways, blocking the entrance and the exit. He climbed out of his truck and grabbed a machete and began to slash at least one tire on every vehicle in the garage. The man was spotted on his rampage by bystanders and police were called. Police arrived quickly, but by the time they could stop the man, he had slashed tires on over 50 vehicles.
These are just insane.
Story number 2. In Tampa Bay, a Florida man suspected that his neighbor had stolen his lawnmower, so he decided to take matters into his own hands. The man walked next door and tried to pour gasoline through a cracked window in his neighbor's Corvette. When that didn't work, he opened the door and dumped gasoline on the driver's seat and ignited it with a lighter. When the neighbors saw what he had done, they rushed out and were able to extinguish the fire with a garden hose.
Both of these are insane.
One of them's real, though.
So one of them, a guy got mad there's no parking spots and slashed 50 tires.
50 tires.
The other one, someone takes his lawnmower, so he sets his Corvette on fire? Oh my gosh. You know what? You know what I'm thinking? And this is impromptu.
Okay,
right?
Let's go.
I think Prince, Little Red Corvette. You know how he says Little Red Corvette? It just came to my head, right? So I think story 2 is true.
That's wild. That's what you thought of. It's true.
Yeah, come on. That's how it's done. Sometimes you gotta
get out of your mind. The only way to combat my mental game is for you to get out of your mind.
I got out of my mind and into my gut, and my gut chose story number 2 based on Prince's song Little Red Corvette.
That's insane.
Wow.
I'm very confused in this story, the real story, that he tried to throw it through a cracked window and there's like, oh, let me just open the door. Like, what?
Huh. I guess he didn't want, his fingerprints on the door. Maybe.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then the article said that I didn't put this in the story because I didn't understand it, but he said that the fire wasn't big enough, so he closed the door. I'm like, was he was like, oh, it's not big enough. I'm just going to close it and then put it out.
Was there too much wind? Yeah.
I don't know what was happening, but
wow,
these weirdos in Florida just
sometimes
keep getting weirder.
Trust your gut, Joe.
So for people listening, you're 5 for 4. For people listening, in case you don't remember from the beginning, all of these stories that are true are something that happened in the 7 dates of the last week.
Yep.
So at some point in history. So it's not like I'm just pulling from archives of all the Florida stories. And in the last 7 dates that happened, like the last week at any point in history, there were so many stories that I could have chosen from.
Really?
I was like, is this even the craziest one?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I really enjoy this Florida Man segment.
It's something. But you want to go first on the growth mindset for the week?
Yes. Growth mindset is to work out at Gold's Gym with Joe. I've done a pretty good job like staying active and staying fit, like just with running and activities like tennis and stuff. But I could feel my muscles shrinking to a point where I feel like, when you put spinach, right, in a pan or in a pot and it shrinks.
Gets wilty.
Yeah, it gets wilty and it shrinks. Mm-hmm. That's what my muscles are doing.
Atrophy.
Yes.
There's a name for it.
They're getting wilty and shrinking. So
I like it.
I also feel like I could get blown over by a 3-mile-an-hour wind. So
it's a tough place to be.
My growth mindset is to get stronger physically and mentally. But
dude,
mentally
I'm pumped about this because I had a buddy that I worked out with in 2019. And then that stopped when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I haven't had anyone to consistently work out with. So I'm pumped about that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, update on my last week. I feel like we should give little updates. I was trying to do a little bit of calendar blocking. I kind of did it a little bit, mostly failed, which is fine. But leading to this week, I think that I'm in too much of a productivity mindset of just like trying to better myself in everything. And I think that it tends to then look like doing better at work, accomplishing more things, or like checking boxes and stuff. Those are valuable to me, but those aren't the most important things in life or what I really want my life to be about. And so mine for this week is a little bit of a reset. And I just want to do a better job of texting friends when I think about them, or call them or text them. Yeah. It's just like someone, I've gone through seasons where I do this better, and someone will just pop in my mind. I'm like, just shoot them a text. And because it's like if friendships, if relationships, and that's what I say is most important in my life, then why don't I try to do more of that?
That's cool. So just more calling.
Or like sometimes calling is a lot. And so like if it's calling, just shoot them a text or just something to engage with people in a way that I wouldn't have done the week before. It's kind of my goal. So I went ahead and kind of pivoted end of last week to start doing that.
Cool, man. Well, keep me updated on that. I think my last week was journaling.
Yeah. Did you journal?
No.
Nice.
Dude, I did some reading, but journaling, it's just, I don't know why. The barrier to entry for journaling for me.
Oh, I haven't even pretended like
tough.
I want to make that a goal because
I think it's so effective.
It is, but there's a lot of things. I don't know.
There's a lot of feelings and emotions that would come out.
On your diary, does it have a little heart lock that you can open?
Kind of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, draft. Late night snacks. Little snacky
I think my list is pretty weird.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Most of yours are.
Yeah, we'll see.
You got first pick, though, because I'm so much better than you.
This is my first pick, and this has been consistent for Christian Mosier.
It's ice cream, isn't it?
No. I knew you were going to think that. It's not. This has been consistent for Christian Mosier since I was a little kid.
What is it?
Cereal.
No!
I love a 9 p.m. cereal. I absolutely love it. I love like O's, just like the Honey O's. I love Frosted Flakes. I love Cocoa Pebbles.
Cereal's my thing. That's my number one pick. I don't know how to recover from this.
Yeah, dude. I looking back in my life, seriously, it's been consistent. I just love cereal. And I love milk.
I just realized I screamed in the middle of an office building too. So
that's fine. Who cares, dude? You pay enough money here. Who do you know here?
Anyway, cereal.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was my number one pick. I'm so shook right now. Man, That's been, if anyone asks, like, you can have 3 meals for the rest of your life, 3 anything, it's always cereal for me.
Yeah, cereal's so good.
Mm.
And you could just, it's like so many like variations.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I haven't had that in a while, but just enjoy
Okay.
that.
I'm so defeated right now. Pick number 1 for me. I'm just going to do cookie dough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just like straight raw.
Yeah, straight raw cookie dough. And don't try to do one of those safe to eat edible cookie doughs without it. It's got to be regular cookie dough, like Toll House, whatever.
You ever gotten hurt?
Nah, dude.
You have a strong stomach, don't you?
Once I drank 3 raw eggs. I wanted to go Rocky style, so I just put them in a glass and just drank them.
How did it feel?
Kind of gross.
Yeah.
The yolks were tough, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, I can't believe you got cereal.
Well, suck on that, Joe. But number 2 for me is the ice cream. It is chocolate ice cream, man. It is brownie, chocolate, cookie dough. Dude, the more chocolate, the better.
Okay, I'm going to do popcorn.
Okay.
But specifically, I'm going to do Boom Chicka Pop. Have you had that? It's like healthy.
No, I
Kettle
haven't.
corn, it is
Kettle corn's
addictive.
bomb, yeah.
It's bomb kettle corn.
Yeah. You want to cuddle and eat some of that?
Yeah. Watch Outer Banks, season 3 for the rewatch.
So 3, I'm going to go with, once again, just a staple. And I almost put this too, PB&J. I love late night PB&Js. Like a 9 o'clock PB&J. I just love PB&Js all the time.
Your list is just so good.
PB&Js are just so good, man. Gosh,
Okay.
I could eat seriously 3 a day.
Those are, I mean, you've got ice cream, cereal, and PB&Js right now. This is
Actually, my list
tough.
might not be that weird.
Okay, I'm going to go peanut butter, banana, and honey.
Yeah, I figured you'd say something like that.
Yeah, like PB&J, just one of those, like some kind of peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, I like that.
That's pick number 3.
All right, so for me, it's going to be the Captain Wafers cream cheese and chives crackers.
As a late night snack.
Yeah, I love like
Interesting.
after dinner. If I'm still kind of hungry, it depends.
Yeah.
Like if I have like a big dinner, probably not. But if I have a kind of more, I guess, a lighter dinner and I want something like a decent, heavier snack, I'll eat those.
Okay. I'm going to do Cheez-Its. The bland snack.
I was going to say that.
Those are just a great year-round one. You were going to say that, but extra
like
toasty?
the white cheese or the
Okay,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Cheez-Its are going to be number 4 for me.
And to round out for me, number 5 is the flavor blasted goldfish. And I will say, the last couple of years, I haven't been as good as eating.
Yep.
I haven't been as good as eating. I haven't been good at eating
Words.
these goldfish, but high school, even college, destroyed
Those are so good. I agree with that. I tend to eat normal goldfish more than the flavor blasted
Gosh,
these
you're
days.
just a bland person, aren't you? What else do you do that's just cookie cutter?
But no, what I'm meaning is like normally that's what I guess we get, but I really love the flavor blasted.
Gotcha.
Whenever you get the extra cheddar.
Yeah.
All right, pick number 5. I'm going to do an apple with peanut butter.
Oh, that's good. It's a healthy snack.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Gosh,
So-
that just reminded me. I really want to go with Chick-fil-A now. I don't know. I just
kinda
kind of
do
got
too.
craving.
But anyway, that was episode 9.
Nueve.
Nueve.
Undrafted
Did you say that at the
amateurs.
beginning?
I did.
I thought you forgot.
You tried to take my thunder, but I snuck it in. You tried to overpower me in the beginning, but I snuck in Nueve.
As always,
You best believe.
if you are following the show and like it and don't mind leaving some ratings, that would be huge.
Yeah.
You don't even have reviews would be awesome, but
Yeah.
I don't like leaving reviews. So I don't want to ask you to leave reviews if you don't like leaving reviews. But if you could just tap 5 stars, that would be awesome. And then if you could share with a friend or two, that'd be even
every
more
friend,
awesome.
every friend you share with, we are going to give you $600 from Undrafted Amateurs.
Yeah. Once again, Christian does not speak for me.
And I'm talking about this bank account we haven't made yet.
Yeah. So anyway, episode 9. Peace.
Peace.